Hey guys, back with another Echoing Thoughts podcast here, episode number 65. And this is the first podcast since hitting Absolab, so I want to talk about it. Talk about my experience, talk about some of the past runs that I did, check out my last video where I posted my floor 45 moo long clear as well as a lotus run. Talk about that, how I test new gear, new DPS. I think this is something that a lot of people don't really know how to do. And I'm going to talk about some of the little things that I do to increase my damage. Just probably some little secret tips that a lot of people probably don't know as well. But before I get into that, I want to answer some questions. Again, I enjoy answering all these questions. I get a ton of DMs in Discord and I get great conversations with people. Shout out to all the Paladin players that are reaching out to me in Discord. I wanted to shout out the guy who got the first Absolab in Scania. Defender was his name, from Black Rose. Now he's known as Sankro. Pretty awesome. I was the second one to get it. And I'm sure there's going to be more soon, hopefully. But just wanted to appreciate all the people that comment in Discord and leave comments or questions in YouTube. But this question was from Sinon. You ever play original Maple? And if so, do you ever decide on returning? Yeah, I've talked about, this is actually something I brought up in my first podcast ever, episode 1, talking about a little bit of my journey, how I got into the game. I love this question. I ask all of my guests this question too, because I feel like it's very relatable. We all kind of have similar stories and it brings back a little bit of nostalgia. And I actually found out that I saw one of the vendors that I worked with at my job. I'm an engineer and I worked with some electricians from outside vendors, and they this one guy had actually a tattoo. He had a little orange mushroom and a slime tattoo. Just brought it up today, asked him about it, asked him if he played about mobile. It's the first time ever in real life that I've seen someone else play it. I have a friend that plays. I've actually met a few people back in Hawaii that I played basketball with, but ever since then, no. So that's 3 people in real life that I've met from in real life that play the game. This is outside of obviously our community that I built here. But yeah, that's just funny. Comment below if you ever met anyone in real life, just kind of in passing, seeing them play maybe on a subway. I see that a lot in Asia or if you see them just playing on their phone anywhere. Let me know in the comments how common it is and where that is, where you saw them. But back to the original question of me playing original Maple. Yeah, I played it when it first came out. I wasn't really into gaming back then. It wasn't allowed per se, and kind of fueled my addiction even more. I wanted to play even more kind of sneakily. My mom was very strict about it, and so typical Asian moms. But my auntie and my cousin played, and whenever I went to their house, they would always be playing till late at night. And as someone who enjoyed games, someone who was deprived of it, just got into it, right? Loved it, played nonstop all night. It was a grind for sure back in pre-Big Bang. But yeah, I played probably for a few years. This was probably late elementary, early middle school. Obviously played a lot of classes. Grinding was hard. Getting to second, third job was tough. I liked all the PQs up to Kerning, Orbis a little bit, Ludi PQ. There's a lot of other stuff. I think there was like the Moon Bunny one as well. Monster Carnival was one of my favorites. Kind of that that was like levels like 30 to 40, 30 to 50. Even Kerning PQ was before second job. So yeah, ages ago. And I played a little bit in college here and there, but it was just something that it was just too much of a time commitment for me, honestly. And it was not, I just got too addicted. When I went into it, nothing else. Like I tuned everything out. I forgot to eat. I forgot to sleep. I forgot to, call in sick probably. I forgot to answer my phone, socialize with anyone. It was just too much of a, black hole of my attention, and it was bad news. And then of course we got to mobile, and same thing, but now it's a little bit more controlled, I guess, and a lot of the grinding is auto battle, and it is just easier to, I guess, weekly bosses. The daily grind isn't as bad maybe now, but yeah, still an addiction, still something that is probably unhealthy, mentally and financially. But yeah, I don't know how long more I'm going to play this game, but everyone's time comes to an end at some point. But just enjoying the ride, trying not to get too crazy with it, and see how long it can take. It's been a long time playing this game, mobile version. Then we'll rapid fire into a few of these questions that kind of stood out. But the first question was from Chemical1274. Which one is better, DS or Paladin? A semi player. I would say middle. I don't know, middle tier. Probably not even a whale. I would say Paladin for sure. Just the simply Demon Slayer is just a DPS. There's a tons of those there. Paladins can bring res, support. They can do a lot of different things that are DPS aside. DPS now is insane, but the value is this other stuff that they bring. Combat order, they bring res, Sangro to their top DPS, Echo, Divine Echo. So yeah, without a doubt, Paladin, it's kind of the best support class in the game right now. Mr. Swaggy asks, how do you get to 200 in a week or two? Is that actually possible? Yeah, it is. It's insane how fast people are getting to level 200, 300 percent EXP, full-time, SF194. They got a perma. They got all the ways to get party XP, all the hot times. Yeah, it's definitely possible. People with new classes like Adele's were getting there in 6 days. Brand new Adele's. It's pretty nuts. Even like to get ults at like SF180, to get to like level 175. For mine, when I was trying to get to 8200 Legion, it took a few, maybe like 6 hours to get to 175 in SF180. Just so yeah, it's ridiculous. And then this was a great one that I don't really know the answer to, but I'll try. This is from XV Knock. What are your top 5 mobbing classes right now? And I said I do some research, and I did not. But off the top of my head, let's see. This is fifth job, kind of end game. Thinking of the best mobbing classes. I think Bowmaster is up there. I think Night Lord / Phantoms are up there because of Showdown. I think a lot of mages. Lumis, of course. Let's see. Demon Avengers probably are really good now. Kaisers are good. There's top 5 is really tough. I think that what the top 5 classes have to have are place down skills. And I know Lumis have insane map clearing ability with place down skills. So basically while they're walking, they're killing stuff. And they have a ton of those. Bowmasters obviously have that with Arrow Platter. Kaisers, Demon Avengers, they got flying, like Adele's, all kind of are in that same group. There's a lot of great classes. I think Nightwalkers too with their bats. I just know Paladins are not that great right now. Demon Slayers are okay, still probably not that great, but they can hit two. Their main mobbing skill can hit 2 levels. I know Wind Archers are great mobbers, but I don't think they're top 5. Let's see. What other mages are good? I heard Kanas may be good. I heard Angelic Busters are good. Cadenas. I heard Cadenas are insane with their kind of rope lift. I think that's a lower level type of thing for like alts and be pre 200. Yeah, that's kind of the classes that come to the top of my head. Love to hear your guys' thoughts. I think also classes that can attack on the move. I wonder if Wild Hunters are good. But yeah, the ones that kind of stick out are Bowmasters for sure. Lumis, Sias, I'm sure are insane. I think Night Lords are so good. I think Night Lords are insane. Phantoms are insane, kind of with the same showdown skill or Chain Lightning even. Um, and then their V skills. Yeah, I would say that's kind of my top upper tier of classes. Demon Avengers, Kaisers. Yeah, I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. So I'm probably way off. There's definitely classes that I'm missing, but I'd love to hear what you guys think. That is what I think at the moment. But yeah, that is, again, let me know if any questions. I'll be right back, and then we'll talk about my Absolab kind of last week journey leading up to it. Let's get it. All right, we're back, and we're going to talk Absolab, what it's been like the past week. This is Monday, April 22nd, recording this, so about 8 days since I got Absolab, and we just bossed yesterday. And the best thing about hitting Absolab, so let's talk about how I got it, right? I think it took me about 5 attempts, so very fortunate, very lucky. And the way I did it was I sort of had fodder, kind of the strategy within to game the system. Not really gaming the system, next one always wins, but to game the system is you want to do things that are around the same percentage. So like it's a 10% chance, right? People do some Star Force, people fuse some jewels, they do crazy other stuff like emblems, maybe level 4 to level 5. They have some sort of things to fail, right? They fail a few things, and then they try their main attempt, the one that they actually want to get, the most beneficial, expensive one, right? So that's what I tried to do with the Absol weapon. I failed some jewels. I failed some actual Absolab attempts that I had saved up. So on my cape, I think I failed. What I did was I failed cape. I think I failed 1 or 2 capes. I failed the cape, and then I tried the weapon. And then I failed the cape again, and then I tried weapon, and that passed. So I kind of went 1 for 4 of 10%, but so it wasn't 4 Absol weapon attempts. It was 2 Absol weapon, 2 Absol regular crystals for my cape. So still very good odds, very lucky, very fortunate, but that is sort of the strategy I think people implemented. Whether it works or not is probably more superstition and more, superstition than anything. But I have heard a few things that is kind of how they do the system. They give you obviously higher chance of passing. So like, for example, the odds of hitting back-to-back 10% are impossible, right? Like that all has to be taken into account. The odds of you hitting 1 is insane. The odds of hitting 2 in a row is sort of just throwing away money per se, throwing away, I don't know, you're just asking for a lot, right? So what is that, 1 out of 100? I don't know what the math is. I think that's what it is. But yeah, so that is sort of the thought process of how I attempted my Absolabs since I didn't actually record it for you guys. And so what does it felt like, right? I think the expectation for me, I talked about it in my last video, was that it was going to be 8 to 10%, possibly more, for team content, right? And I think that sort of played out for the most part across the board. I think Covert was a little bit disappointing. I think I didn't even get like 1,000 more points gained. So that was a little bit disappointing. But DPS for Lotus went up 10 bill, which is 9%, I think. I went from 140 to 150. Mulong went down 20 seconds, which is insane. But as far as bossing content, you guys probably know, whenever you guys can relate to this, right? Whenever you try to PR, whether you're using boss rush, whether you're trying to, you just got a new gear, a new upgrade, you're trying to test something, that next run is always the worst RNG, right? Like you die a lot, or maybe something goes wrong mechanically. There's in Lotus, there's a lot of purple orb phases. In Lucid, maybe we get minigame a lot. Damien, you get orbs. It's just whenever you try to PR is when you don't PR. Whenever you aren't even trying, whenever you're just kind of going through the motions, whenever it kind of just feels like a weekly boss, that is when you do your best, right? That is just the nature of the game. I feel like that's always the case. And so that is what happened this week. I BR'd, I used my event buff, I did Kerning Tower to get the Kerning Tower ring, and I got orbs a ton in Hard Damien, a ton. I think I did like 50 something build DPM when I'm usually like 70, my PR is 73, 75. So extremely low, right? Unfortunate, RNG, can't help it. Lucid, we obviously didn't play our best. We had a few deaths. We had a few mini games. Mechanically, we didn't do great. I had a few misplays as well, and I did the same. I was expecting better, right? Lucid felt like one of those bosses that I could consistently expect higher results, and I was the same, which is kind of exciting, right? That's the exciting part, right? I think for me, knowing that I could have played better or things could have went well, and I still did about the same damage as my previous PR, yeah, for sure. I think that is the exciting part. But like I said, the damage for me was as I expected, but it just comes down to multiple boss rushes runs. Like if you ever had a new rebalance as a new class, like your class gets rebalanced, more lines, more spirit or skill percent attack, it usually takes a few weeks, maybe a month even to get your bearings, to actually see the results, because there's so many factors as far as boss damage, right? As far as getting the best results possible, and a lot of it's out of your control, right? So that is the nature of, unfortunately, the first week. Very relatable, I'm sure, to a lot of you guys, but I'm just excited overall, right? It just looks nice. It's just something to get out of the way. I'm very grateful and appreciative, and we're kind of in this time of just waiting week to week, getting those resources, getting those stones, getting those attempts, and wishing for the best, right? But what I wanted to talk about as well was some of the things that I did to prep, right? I talked about boss rush. I talked about getting Kerning Tower 50. I talked about I did get Defense Smash 4, Defense Smash 3 for Mulong and Covert and those types of things to PR, because in those contents, cap, just the impact of cap is so much greater that you need that ignore enemy defense. But then one of the things that I want to talk about specifically that I don't think too many people do is I actually changed my link skills and I have a completely new bossing rotation of link skills, right? You only get 12, right? So that is impossible to do. A lot of people have party EXP and EXP link skills, and you just can't have all your DPS link skills in there, right? So what I do is the kind of right before my boss fight, as kind of a prep, I actually remove my party EXP link skills, my EXP link skills. I think it's the resistance one, with the battle mage, wild hunter, that one stacks for EXP. Then the party EXP I think is explore mages, and then the Mercedes EXP is 4%. So I get rid of that, and I actually get rid of another one, a fourth one, which is the Iran fever charge rate. I don't know if it actually works or not, but that is something that I put in for my training to sort of get fevers quicker, to get the vacuum for drops faster, right? So that is something that I have in my training link skill rotation. And then for bossing, I swap those out for, I think it's the 2 Demon Slayer ones. Oh, it's a 1 Demon one, which is 4% boss attack. An Evan one, I'm pretty sure, which is another 4% boss attack. And then the Explorer Thieves, which is stackable, which gives you 9% physical attack. And I think the Phantom or the Kinesis one is 4% crit damage. And I think those are the 4 that I swap out. And sometimes if I need more HP, I'll swap out the Kaiser link skill for HP as well. But I end up swapping out these 4, and I end up getting 8% boss attack, 4% crit damage, and I end up getting 9% physical attack percent. Huge, right? I think a lot of people don't do this, and I think they made this as a recent change as well. I don't know when it happened, but you actually don't lose out on any EXP. You don't actually lose out on any party EXP, because the ones that you take out, the party EXP and EXP ones, you can actually immediately use them right away. There is a recharge rate, 24 hours recovery kind of cooldown for the ones that we add in. So like the ones for boss attack and the one for crit damage and one for physical attack, those actually have a 24-hour cooldown. But I can immediately do all my bosses, do all my content with all my bossing EXP or bossing link skills, and then right after I'm done, I can actually go remove those and put the EXP one, the party EXP ones back in. So that is nice. That is huge. Something that all stats help, right? All percent stats help. It matters, right? And it allows you to, since we only have 12 slots, we have to be able to min-max that way. And it's very, very simple and easy, right? There's no resources used. There's no crystals or mesos or anything like that needed to do this. And so if you have all your content laid out, or you have all your content on the same day, huge, right? Bang it all out. Either sometimes people like to do it on the Mondays when reset, or at the end of the week on Sundays to do all of their content. That is usually the best time to do it, to try to line up your bosses. But yeah, that is a sneaky tip that I hope helps some of you guys. Just like, it's just something, right? It's just like, if you're looking for more percent stats, like if you're trying to, trying to get more boss attack, that's easy, 8%, right? If you're missing out on it, if you're not using it. So yeah, and don't forget to use your guild skills, your campfire, your guild skill. Don't forget to use your event buffs as well. There's a great event buff for bossing. Use the 15% boss attack one. That is the best one for bossing. And yeah. So I wanted to last talk about how once I get all that prep going, how I actually end up testing damage, right? And I think it's very simple in my opinion. I basically just screenshot or video, whatever, my previous record, the damage initial chart, and then the battle analysis, the lines, right? And I talked about in my previous video how my lines went up 2.5 mil on average for my blast lines, just by comparing side to side for Lotus. Huge, right? And I think this is something you guys can do as well, right? Just to see the difference, right? They give you this data, they give you this information, take advantage of it. Just raw numbers. You don't have to guess anymore like we had to before. You don't have to record videos and look at the lines and your damage skin and see, am I capping those lines or not? You can see them in the battle analysis. So take advantage of that, whether it's Lotus, Damien, Lucid, Arc, Magnus, any commander boss, Rudibus boss, Chaos boss, all of the bosses have it, right? If you just want to go straight into fog training, if you have some sort of data you do before your gain, if you're getting a new equipment, maybe before a new rebalance, get that data before and then compare afterwards. That is the simplest way to do it, right? The numbers don't lie. And it's as controlled one-to-one as it gets. So yeah, I highly recommend recording runs, taking screenshots of the data analysis, the battle analysis, and going with that. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about quickly was this, the issue that people have when it comes to second page skills, right? I think first off, you have to find out what skill wheel works best for you, what you need on your first page and what you need on your second page. It makes a big difference, right? Everyone has it differently. But I think one of the issues that a lot of people are coming up with now, especially with V3 coming out and V4 looming in the next few months, you have to be able to toggle between first and second page. It's just what it is. Like I have a ton of skills on my second page, my fair trade, my stun, some of my burst cooldowns if I do it manually, are on my second page because I just need prioritize certain skills on the first page, right? But when you're toggling to the second page, a lot of people end up losing DPS. They lose their place. They get distracted, or they cannot multitask, right? It's very challenging. But one of the easiest things to keep uptime and do damage, especially if you're one button preset or you have a main skill, which a lot of classes do, like you got to have your main skill preset as one of your presets. Just like for me, I just put blast as a preset skill, even if nothing else is on there, right? Just one, or you could do 4 blast, whatever it is. But you need to have your main skill preset and in the same location on the first page and the second page. So like you'll see in my videos, my blast is my biggest, the bottom button, right? And then when I flip to the second page, it's the same thing, right? It's the first one is the preset blast, and the second page is the regular skill, right? No preset, but it's the same skill. It allows you to do both, right? And that is something that allows me to, when I'm in page 2 and I can't because the issue is if I don't have it on the second page, right, I'm going to toggle the second page to stun or to use fair trade, and then it's going to take me time to go back to page 1. And if I mess that up, I lose a ton of DPS, right? So what I try to do is just, if I toggle to page 2, use the skill, the stun that I need to use, and then I'm attacking, right? I'm using blast on that second page in the same spot. It's muscle memory. And then when I have the opportunity to switch back to page 1, I do it, right? But I don't have to do it right away. I don't have to go page 1, page 2, use my skill, and then try to get back to page 1 all in a few seconds. I can go page 1, damage, page 2, stun, damage on page 2, and then flip to page 1 when I have time, when I have an opening availability. So little things like that, right? Whether you do it now or you do it later, you're going to have to at some point be able to micromanage and manage your skill 1 and skill 2, your pages, toggling back and forth and still keeping your uptime, right? Everyone's going to have this challenge. It's going to be, it's very common, right? We're just going to have more skills and more skills. So the less you have to think and the easier you make it for yourself, the more damage you're going to do, the more uptime, the more consistency you can create, and you're not going to be kind of stuck in that weird spot where you think you're attacking on page 1, but you're still on page 2 spamming who knows what skill, doing no damage at all, right? So that is my little rant on just the Absolab Journey, how I test new gear, prep new gear, get the best stats possible, the best gear possible to maximize DPS, and then just little things, tips and tricks to help maximize my rotation, my mechanics, kind of make it as simple as possible, muscle memory as possible. But thank you guys for all the questions. Thank you guys for all the congratulations. I hope to get more content out showing my gains over time, but it's just, I had some bad runs, right? Some unfortunate runs that didn't output the best results, so it doesn't really portray, the gains that I made. So, but yeah, thank you again for watching. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time.